Hello YouTube, it's William. Welcome to another Whittle Talk. Been doing quite a few of these lately. It's cooler outside and it's pleasant. So thought maybe I'd share some things. I've covered all of these topics in the past, but nothing short, sweet, to the point of my thoughts or opinions. That's what Whittle Talks are my opinions. And let's face it, 99% of what's on YouTube is opinion. So very little facts is shared on YouTube. So you can take these thoughts and think on them and see if they apply to you, and if they do, then fantastic. If they don't, then perhaps the next one will. Okay. All right. So as the title indicates, this is my thoughts on a survival knife. And like I say, I've talked about this before in past videos several years ago. Okay, so here is my thoughts on a survival knife. I think survival is overused. I think 99.99999% of all of us will never be in a survival situation. Survival is, I think, the best term that I've heard as to what a definition of survival is if you don't change your situation immediately, you will die. That is survival. I think that's the best definition I've heard. So the only way that we today are going to find ourselves in a survival situation is if you are military, and that is, you're not going to be alone. 99.9% of the time you're going to have people around you. So you know, you're not surviving alone. You know, the percentages of you surviving alone at any time is, man, I imagine there's a lot of people would take that bet in Las Vegas. I don't know what the odds are, but it would be tremendous. So anyway, let's just go ahead and just get that out there. The second thing is, if you are alone and you are in a survival situation, you have done a lot of things bad. There's a lot of mistakes as this happened. First of all, you did not tell somebody where you were going. That's responsible. You did not tell that person when you're coming back. You did not have the proper gear with you. You were negligent and lost your gear. Aliens came down and stole your gear. I mean, there's a lot of things that would have to happen to go bad for you to be in a survival situation. Okay? So that's another caveat to this whole what if scenario. And there's all kinds of what ifs. All right? I think the best thing that any of us could do is to plan, to have a plan. Follow that plan. Go where you told somebody you would be. Do what you told that person you would be doing, and then come back. Okay? So that's the first thing. The second thing is, and I have heard this, I don't know until I'm sick of it. The survival knife is the one you have with you. Okay, all right, that's true. But I hope that we have enough sense to know where we're going and have enough experience to know which knife I should have with me. I mean, are you going to go and to be dropped in the middle of the Amazon rainforest with a Swiss Army knife? Tom Hanks was, but he gave his knife to somebody else. He was on a desert island. But that's a movie. You know, I mean, folks, come on. Let's use some common sense with all this, okay? If you know where you're going, you have a plan, pick the right tools, okay? It may not be a knife. It may be a shovel. You may be going out in the middle of the northern United States during January, and it's going to be 10 feet of snow, okay? Maybe a shovel is a better tool for you to have than a knife. Maybe it's an axe, okay? But have the right tools with you, okay? And I say tools because one is not going to get you, you're not going to survive long in most places without more than one tool, okay? Even when we had stone tools, they had more than one tool. They had different shapes on flint rocks that did different tasks. They had stone axes. They had stone chips and blades to do fine cutting. They had the heavier blades to do the heavier task. I mean, you know, and I've already covered the one tool option, so I don't want to get on that. But think about this logically, all right? If anybody, the survival blade that has been around and tested the longest is a flint rock, all right? Let's just be honest with that, all right? The second thing is, if you're in a survival situation, which we've already discussed that 99.9999999% of us will never be in, you do not want to jeopardize that tool by doing stuff stupid. Putting it on a spear, throwing it, throwing the knife, period. Beating on it, trying to make a fire. I mean, this splitting wood for a fire with a knife is just recent, folks. I mean, this is not something that was done ages ago without an axe or something that was designed to do that, okay? And, you know, you go back to Murphy's Law. Old Murphy's going to raise his head when you least expect it. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. And most of the time when things go wrong is when you need that tool the most. So take care of that tool. Treat it as if it is your child, okay? And you want to take care of that tool. Now, if you're in the backyard and you want to weld away on something, by all means, do that. It's your knife. You do whatever you want to do. But when you're out in a survival situation, which 99.9999999% of us will never be in, then treat that tool with kid gloves, okay? The other thing is learn different ways to do things. I mean, if I had this knife and I found myself in a situation where I had to spend the night, I'm not in a survival situation. I'm in a discomfortable or uncomfortable situation, okay? I'm not in a survival situation. That's another thing. People confuse uncomfortable with survival. No. Survival, again, is if you don't change your situation immediately, you're going to die. That's survival. There's a lot of us may find ourselves in an uncomfortable situation. Injury is one of those that may put you in a survival situation, or extreme cold could, hypothermia, something like that may put you in a survival situation. But again, if you have a plan, somebody knows where you're at, you're not going to be in that survival situation long, okay? But again, building a fire. If you know that you're going to be on the river, I don't care what time of the year it is, have a fire kit on you that's waterproof. Proper planning, okay? Have tinder. Have some way to start fire that is not going to get wet, a ferro rod or whatever, even if it does get wet, okay? Have tinder with you. Know your landscape. Know where you can get dry tinder on land. And it's not going out and picking up a branch off the ground and splitting it with your knife, okay? That's not skills, folks. That is shortcuts, and shortcuts is what will get you in trouble, all right? Learn how to take dried twigs off of timber that is standing, bundle them up, stick a match to it. They'll light just as well as if it took you an hour to baton through a log or a limb and do feathers. Feathers makes good video, all right? Realistically, that is not the quickest way to make a fire, all right? You're wanting to get a fire immediately. Again, you're in a survival situation, so you're not going to go out, saw a limb off of a tree, baton that, do feathers, and build a fire that way. That takes time. Time is your enemy, okay? So have the proper kit with you. All right? So, survival knife, the one you have with you, yes. Make sure that you choose the proper knife before you put yourself in that possible situation. Learn more skills. This is not going to fillet a fish very well. So don't try to fillet a fish. Cook the whole fish. Change your mindset, okay? This will build a debris shelter somewhat, but maybe you need to do something else. Maybe you need to just crawl in a bunch of leaves, all right? Learn other ways to accomplish the same task with different tools is what I'm saying. Don't rely on one method all the time, because at some point that method is not going to be realistic or achievable. So learn other ways to do that same task with different tools, okay? So again, survival, 99.9999% of the time, we'll never be in that unless you get injured, or if you're out somewhere where you told somebody not, that you didn't tell anybody you was going to be, or if hypothermia set in. And again, all of these situations is something that you messed up really bad, okay, to put yourself in these situations. So I hope this is helpful, and that's my thoughts on survival. And till next one, you guys get in the backyard with a little stick. Be sure to take a child with you, get the opportunity. Don't forget that plenty of band-aids and lots of items. We'll catch you again very soon. Bye.